excited, like really, to be here. And I know this is the last talk of the day, so you must be really tired, but I'm happy you are all here. And so just sit back, and it's going to be an easy ride, and just enjoy some stories. So no, this talk is not about what DevOps is. So instead, I'm going to tell you some stories how I adopted this mindset and through my journey to DevOps. So instead of going from top to bottom, like what DevOps is, how people do it, what they do it, we're going to go from bottom to top, from our level to see to how to adopt this mindset and what people do and what kind of stories I collected during the last 2 years. So I'm Busra, and I'm a software engineer at Trivago in the team that is called Software Operations. And I'm not very fanatic about languages, but I am a very Python enthusiastic person. And I'm a blogger and an amateur photographer and a crazy cat lady. And this is my cat, who is trying to distract me from working from home while she is a bit sick. So yeah, this is us. So starting from the stories, when I was a child, actually, no, we're not going to go from this back. But when I was a student, computer science student, the first automation I think I did was writing a small script that was tweeting for me every day. So I had a little website that was listing a specific restaurants in Turkey. And I did everything on my own because it was a side project. And I really had no time to promote the website and the restaurants that were being added. And I wrote a small script that would take some restaurants from my database and tweets it on Twitter. As a student, it was such an exciting thing because something was there and working for me every single day. And for sure, it's not kind of automation we do these days, but for sure, it's definitely an automation of its own. And I think this is exactly the point where my passion started about automation. So after my bachelor degree, I started working in a big enterprise, like really big enterprise. And I was in the project that was about cloud operating systems. So we were putting some stuff on top of OpenStack. And we were like 150 developers, and we didn't have ops people, so we were all developers. And there I met with configuration management tool, where you do a lot of automation. So it got me really interested in it, and since it was a project that had virtual machines and it's an infrastructure, so we were using Ansible as a configuration management tool. I'm sure many of you know Ansible. Ansible is one of the configuration management tools like Chef, Puppet, CF Engine, and Salt, and so on. And this project was already there, so we were just putting little pieces into it. So I just was writing little modules to install package or fix something. But I didn't really know how people start using this tool in the project. So I went home, and I said, I really want to try something on my own so I can learn why we use this tool in the first place and why it is good for. Then I learned so much because I did a bachelor thesis about Hadoop. So I had 5 virtual machines cluster, and I did everything on my own, like installing Hadoop on each node and configuring Hadoop. So I was like, this is a great use case. I can start with this to automate the Hadoop installation. So maybe I can press one button, and it would boot up the VMs, and it would install the Hadoop and configure the machines in a way that they can work together. While doing this, I learned so much because I hit the wall on my own. I learned what not to do, what to do, and what is good, what is bad about using this automation tool. Then I went back, work, and I said, OK, I really want to get the best out of this tool. I want to do really good things and make our infrastructure code better. Then I saw a lot of things, I saw things that people, when people don't know why they use that tool, they can use really not wisely. And I'm going to give you some examples, and I'm sure you're going to find it some kind of familiar to you, so maybe it would put a smile on your face. So this is the first one. This is just a module in any configuration management tool, that is installing a package, OpenJDK. And this is calling a shell command. And Ansible, this is with shell. In Salt, this is like command.run. And in any configuration management tool has this command for you to run a shell command or a script on the machine that you are actually managing. So this goes to your servers and install this apt-get, if it's Ubuntu, if anything else. apt-get install, it pass a flag that is no installer commands and OpenJDK package. So I don't know if you see anything wrong about this, because when you look at it, there is nothing wrong, because it's going to go to servers and it's going to install what you want to install. Well, this is bad. And this is like really bad. Because the reason we use this tool is actually eventually get rid of shell a little bit, like get out of it and like make it more maintainable, our infrastructure code, and more flexible and readable for all of us. And that's why it's easy to write. So why don't we use the modules of the configuration management tool and we run shells? And this was like all over the code, because I got the task upgrading Ansible 1 to Ansible 2. So I had to go through all the codes that we have been written, what breaks, what not. And I saw this quite a lot. Like, people were just executing shell commands everywhere. And what you could do instead, you could use the module that is there. And every configuration management tool has modules. That's why they exist. And for you, they check things. They check if that package is already there. They check, you know, if it should be installed with sudo or not. They check everything for you, and that is the reason we use this tool, and that's why the first thing you should check if it has a module. You shouldn't think about running a shell command. And if you read, and you can write the name, you can write the state, even the version, and you can even pass the flag that you wanted to pass with the shell command, that is install command. And if you really, really want to do this with sudo, and you can pass in Ansible, become true, and this is going to install your package with root rights. This was Ansible, and this was on my other company. So I changed, because I was really interested. That was the point. I did everything, and I'm like, OK, this is the path I want to go, and I want to do things. And now, in my current workplace, we are using Salt. And it doesn't matter which configuration management tool you use. If you don't have the reason that, if you don't know why you use it, you still make this kind of mistakes, and this is one of them. Imagine you have a file that has two dictionaries, which is turtle and the frog. And reading this variable file, you create two other configurations that is using these dictionaries, which is turtle.conf and frog.conf. So good. So whenever you run your code, it reads the variables, it creates the configuration, and it does other stuff. And after a while, you decided to delete the frog from the dictionary. So you don't need this anymore. But you write only the creation on your configuration management, the infrastructure code. So you deleted this, and you expected frog.conf to be gone. But it didn't. So when we ran the code, we were like, oh, frog.conf is still there, because some other things still wants to use that. But we didn't want that to be there. So the very first idea was like, OK, I'm just going to go into the servers and delete the frog.conf, because I know that next time when my tool runs, it's not going to be created, because it's not in my variable tool. So there are two things that is wrong about this idea, because first of all, you should not assume this will never happen again. Like, no. Because you can actually think of deleting turtle again after some time, and then you still need to go to the servers and delete whatever that was created there. And this is the second idea, that what if you have 100 servers? Are you really go and SSH into servers one by one and delete your file? I don't think so. And I know many of you may be saying that, oh, I can just write a small bash script that would go into and SSH all the servers, and it would delete it. It would be one time. No, because if you're doing some housekeeping after the automation tool, that's the point. You should think that, OK, something must be wrong, because I rely on this tool. I use this tool because I want to configure things, clean things, like make them working together. And still, after the tool runs, I need to go into the servers and delete stuff and make some housekeeping. And that was the first takeaway I got. I was like, OK, this is not a good idea. And the second idea was, let's write one more module before the creation, and this would wipe up all the configuration files. So it would delete the configuration file directory, and after that, the creation module will run, and it would create whatever variable that com has inside. So this is not OK either, because whenever you run this tool, it's going to delete, it's going to create. It's going to delete, it's going to create. And so whenever you run this tool, it's going to give you an output of change, which is, I don't think, what you want. Because all this tool, the tool that you are using actually has a really important thing that is called idempotency. So this is the definition of idempotency, which is an operation is idempotent if the result of performing it once is exactly the result of performing it repeatedly without any intervening actions. So whenever you want to run your stack, your playbook, whatever you are using, it is not, if your system is already in a good state that you expect, it shouldn't change anything. It shouldn't give you an output of, oh, I changed something. So that's why you need to write this code in a way that it's not giving you false outputs. So that's why you should be, if you create something, you should be able to, if you create something with a condition, you need to think about the opposite of that condition to delete things. So that's why when you are writing a create, like you use a module that creates things, you need to make sure that when you don't need something, you need to make sure that this file is gone. So you need to make sure that deletion is happening as well. Because those modules that you use in your configuration management tools are all capable of checking this for you. Because time is precious. That's why we are using automation. That's why we use these tools. So whenever you want to have new tool in your stack, you really need to think, why I'm using this? Is it really solving the problem I need? And once you know that, you know what the tool is capable of, and you know what you can achieve from it. And I see these kind of things a lot when using configuration management tool. And we do automation a lot with these tools, and we have tools for automation quite a lot. And I think you cannot possibly get enough of automation. It's something for me that just, whenever I automate something, I have a ridiculous happiness, like ridiculous relief on my feelings, and it's really funny. But I'm really wondering, in exactly this moment, like, how do you decide when to automate something? Like, automation is cool, you do all of the things, and when do you decide, like, OK, this is the time we should really automate this process? Because I know the very, very basic thought is that, oh, if I repeat this 3 times, this is the time I need to automate this. This is the time that, OK, I do this many times, and this is the time it really doesn't need to be manually. But it happened to me a couple of months ago. We have a tool at work, and we are trying to get rid of this tool. Because we are using webhooks now, and it used to be something that does webhooks. And so since we are going to get rid of it, we are slowly getting part out and putting something else. So whenever you get some parts out, you need to release a new version of this tool that you want to get rid of. And I had to touch this tool, and I realized that that tool doesn't have an automation for building, testing, or deploying. Because the tool that was written 5 years ago, it was just working. It was not really developed a lot on the time, and nobody thought that this is a process maybe needs to be automated. But this is the time now we are really touching it and moving stuff, and we need to release the new version of this tool. And so I had to touch this tool. Luckily, it had the make file, so I was able to build. But I had to put into the Artifactory. I had to change the version. I had to deploy it, all by hand. And it was the moment I was like, this really has to be automated, because this is something that we do the automation all the time. This is so easy. And I was like, OK, anyway, this is not a tool I maintain, and I'm going to do once. I'm just going to do this and leave it. So I built it. I wanted to push it to Artifactory. I had to have the rights. OK, I got the rights. Then they gave me the directory structure, and I was like, I don't know where to put this exactly. It's like Linux, and then it's the version. And I'm like, OK, I'm just going to copy the directory and paste it, delete the one, and then put my binary in it. It was like first easiest thing I could do for me. And while doing that, I copied it, I pasted it, I saw it pasted somewhere else. I had to delete it, and I deleted the whole build directory. Like the whole directory was gone. And that moment, I was super red. I'm like, this is not my problem. Why is it not automated? I don't need to know. I don't need to know where to put this thing. I don't need to know how to deploy the new version. And at the end, it turned out I didn't really leave the whole one, like some other place, because there is this directory tree, it's quite complicated. So I went to the team. I said, I was almost deleting your whole build directory, which is not a big deal. You have the tags. You can build it again. But still, why do I have right to do this? Like, why it's not an automated process? So at the end, the first reaction I got from one of them was like, we're going to get rid of this tool very soon, like in 2 months or thing. I don't think it really worth the effort. I was like, it really does. Because in these 2 months, more people are going to touch this. So you have more opportunity to have mistakes and have some stuff gone from your Artifactory. So then we automated it at the end, and everyone was really happy. But it's not just repetitive task, but it's also like automated before you break or stress about it. It's not just, something is really repetitive and we have to do it all the time, but I don't need to know how to build this. I don't need to know how to test this application. I don't need to know, because I am just using it. I'm not, I don't know how you do these things as a maintainer. And I don't need to know where you apply this in the Artifactory. I don't have to have the rights, because your whole pipeline can have all these rights and put everything in place, and I don't need to worry about that. So that was really the takeaway I got from this story, that, yeah, it's not just repetitive task. It's everything. It's about the value that it's going to create. It's about how much it is going to make your process faster, how much it's going to make the other people move faster, because that's what you want to give people as an opportunity. So I am in the team that is called software operations. So we are not ops. We maintain things. We have Mesos cluster. Like half of the team goes to the other teams to give them supports for their infrastructure. And also we have very little tools which make their developers' life easier. So for these little tools we maintain, we create the whole pipeline. So I learned how to create a pipeline that would build, that would test, that would deploy, like whole everything. Plus, that would monitor if something needs to be monitored. And it has to have alerting as well, because that is the time when your monitoring actually works. Like, that's why you have the monitoring. And so I learned quite a lot in the work. Now it's quite a practice I'm learning. And my boyfriend and I, who are both software engineers, and we have a side project that is taking pictures from Reddit, some of the Reddit subreddits, and posting it on Facebook. We have a Facebook page that is like cute animals, and then from the Reddit API, we get some images and we post on Facebook. And we just wanted to play with MongoDB, server in the cloud, and we did this little project, and it's all automated. There's a script that is pulling images. There's a script that is posting on Facebook. And after a while, we got this message that says, I hope your Christmas was full of happiness and your New Year's will bring more celebration of your life, you and your wife, although they don't know anything about us. I love following your posts, and I haven't seen anything of late. I really do hope things are all right with your family. And this is a message from one of our followers of the page, because now it has like 2,500 people, and people really engage with the post, and our bot actually posting. And they sent us a message that, hey, something is not working, you're not posting anything, and we are really wondering because we enjoy the little animal pictures. And this was the point. We were like, oh, OK, this is a side project. We don't have any monitoring or anything, so we don't know if the secrets are actually working. We were happy that we engaged with people, but then we went, luckily we had logging, so we saw that when was not working, and it was like for the last 20 days, it wasn't posting anything. And our token was expired, so the Facebook didn't do the authentication. But this is a common case. Like, how many times, like, does it happen to you that the ops person actually, the person maybe who is maintaining your monitoring system, walks into your team space and says, hey, something is failing. Shall I acknowledge it, or are you going to fix it, or how do we do this? Because either you are not in the list of the people who are getting the alert, because there's a lot of things, and either you didn't complete the whole pipeline to get alerted in time, anything. So it's like, it's kind of manual alerting that you still have something. We still have logs. And the service is in the cloud, so we have, like, whenever script runs, you see that some things are, like, moving, but we didn't really have the real alerting that we could see what would change. And I think this is really, really one of the most important practices to put in your head, that I need to complete this whole pipeline if I want to move faster. And towards the end, I would like to mention a little bit of communication and documentation. As I said, I'm in the team that is called software operations, so we maintain things, and we create little tools. And we also, half of the team, are going to the product teams, and they are helping for their infrastructure to be up. So, like, to create their infrastructure, development environment, so they can work together. Also, they educate them so that after they are done, they can maintain their infrastructure on their own. And this needs a lot of communication, because this is not, like everyone says, this is not tools, this is not people, this is, this is the process. And this really comes with a package. This is one of the terms are communication, because I'm not just sitting there and solving a math problem. I'm actually solving a people's problem. I need to understand what they need. I need to understand what their infrastructure needs to be inside for their application to be up and running, or what a developer needs to learn to maintain their infrastructure. That's why I need to understand what they need, and I need to make this happen in a way that they can do better when I'm not away. And this is really happening with the documentation. When I'm saying documentation, it's not like, oh, I have a tool and I need to document something. It's more like there are things that you cannot automate. Like, I don't know. So, for example, how to create a webhook that would trigger your Jenkins build and, and does everything for you. So you had the Jenkins build, you had the Git repository, but you need to configure some stuff, and developers might not know this. And these kind of things, we create little runbooks in our team that is saying little things that is like maybe only 4 lines of article and maybe some images to tell you what to do and how to do this. Like, for example, this is one of them. This is a huge list. And the Bitbucket, how to set specific users to merge pull requests, or recommended repository settings. Like, why it is so powerful, because when people want to read this document, they already know what their problem is. They already know what they want to do. I want to trigger Jenkins from my repository. So I don't need more information. I just want to know how to do this. And they don't need me for this. Although I'm the one maybe who is doing it, but they don't need me. So I can just give them my little documentation, and it would tell them one by one what to do. And it's just working. It's working greatly that I get feedback most of the time that, hey, this was really easy. And they love when you throw them some really easy document that just says 3 or 4 steps how to do the thing that they really need specifically. That's why I really see the result that is, because that's what you want to do. You want to spread this mindset. You want to let people do things. You want to enable your developers to do it. You want to enable people to do things for themselves so you can move faster. And you automate things, for sure, but you document things that cannot be automated. That's why I always say, if you cannot automate a process, then you document it in a way so that people can understand and read it easily. So it's not a pain for any side. And I said I'm not going to tell you what DevOps is, but I love these little comics that I want to finish with. This dev team and the ops team, and there is this wall, and something crashes. And while this crash, there comes continuous integration, there comes communication, there comes collaboration, there comes documentation. With all these things, you make people easy to communicate with each other. That is the mindset you want to give to people. That is saying that we are better together and we can work together better. So let's crash this wall and put something there so we can make this process easier for all of us. Thank you for listening to me. That's all I got. If you have any questions, anything, I know this is the last, so people are going to leave now. But if you want to have coffee, if you want to tell your stories, I would love to listen. Because this is how I learn. That's how I question myself, to know and more stories. And so yeah, if you have any questions, I can take them now. If not, tomorrow I'm going to be here as well, so we can have a chat over a coffee. Thank you. No questions? Good. That's good.
Thank you.
Thank you.